But I hope you guys are, you know, following everything that is happening. So for you guys that don't know what is actually happening, I'm here to break it down. Let me let you guys listen to this speech by Honorable Abdul Kagbo, at least so you guys could have an understanding of where I'm going with us. We're going to take, this thing head on. We have about 6 months left to elections. As far as I know, even that 6 months is barely 220 something days left to elections. And we all know the struggles of the APC as a political party. I'm not going to go into everything, the fake case they have against people like Dr. Samuel Kamara, all of that. I'm not going to go, into all of that. I'm just going to focus on the events of what has happened within the past few days. I'm talking about the students standing up and, Honorable Abu Kagbo of the ITGC, who's the recognized Secretary General of the ITGC, the Interim Transitional Governance, Committee of the APC Party. But again, I want to remind everybody that even forming the ITGC, we know the ruling from Judge Fisher was very unconstitutional. And I've always said this and I always believe in this. And this is something that's going to be tested in due time and in due course. There is no judge born of a woman in Sierra Leone that can pass the same judgments against the SLPP party that was passed against the APC to dissolve the executive of the APC party. I stand by that. And I want that to be tested at some point. Because SLPP had all its struggles, with the Kenda Yunkelas. You remember when they were fighting at the SLPP party office? When they locked the door was shut, the gate was shut in front of Kanda Yunkela and everybody else that was with him. They said he's not going to enter this office. The APC, former President Nkrumah, could have got involved into the SLPP affairs, could have used state institutions to destroy the SLPP. But he did not do that because it was SLPP affairs. Let them take care of their business. So we saw that. And we all know, going now, looking at what is actually happening within the APC, they used the court system. The judiciary was used. And this is why the European Union made it very clear that Sierra Leoneans don't trust the judiciary of Sierra Leone. Judge Fisher is a mercenary that was sent and is there operating against the opposition. We've seen all the cases that has to do with the APC folks. The case currently, with Dr. Samora Kamara. Fisher is in charge. This is the same judge that went against people like Comrade Koita, Paolo Contes, George Abat Williams, Darami. All of the cases that have to do with APC people, Fisher has been behind it. He's the prosecutor, he's the judge, he's everything. Because that is his mission by the SLPP government of President Bio to take on the APC as an opposition. And let me start with this short video here for you guys that are here because this is not going to be long, guys. I'm just going to show you guys what has transpired within the past few days and where we're at now. With the APC as a political party in the fights to save our democracy, because we all know democracy is backsliding in Sierra Leone right now. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. Fatma Tabangura, you said, Ibrahim, you've always said that this man came from nowhere to hijack the party, even in the highest court. Yes, absolutely. I've always stood by my statements and I'll continue to stand by them. This guy with this name Tej is asking me if I am APC, but I can tell everybody this. I was born into APC, but just because I was born into APC, this is the same Ibrahim that stood up against the APC, and this is the same Ibrahim that's going to stand up against the SLPP, and I have done more against the SLPP than I even did against the APC. But you all know why I went against the APC at the time. It was because of Kanda Yumkela, who has failed us woefully. So yes, I was born in the APC. You split me open, it's APC for sure. But again, don't forget I have my political party, the People's Liberation Academy. Of course, it was a movement, but I'm going to call it Academy now. The People's Liberation Academy, because I'm here to teach, right? I want you guys to see this video. This is Honorable Abu Kagbo when he spoke as a real gentleman and as a fighter for democracy in Sierra Leone. When the APC people said, we want our party back, we want to take our party back, Honorable Abu Kagbo of the ITGC, the Secretary General, stood up and spoke, and the people listened because he has the support of the people. And it's time. There is not enough time for the APC to form all the lower level elections. There is not enough time. So listen to this from Honorable Abu Kagbo.
The stakeholders, especially the former National Secretary General of the All People's Congress, a man will get enormous experience. And one thing we for learn, anybody where you want to work in your office, if you don't get a blessing, you go and work. So I make sure say I go to them for a blessing and guidance. Because he gets enormous experience about the All People's Congress. Sometimes they want to choke and they call them for their advice and for their guide. So I want to recognize the presence. I similarly want to recognize the presence of the former flag bearer for the All People's Congress, when Dr. Marty Wilson Samora Kamara. I recognize the presence. I recognize the presence of every other person I am. Before I read the press statement, let's just say a few things. We Honorable Laim Aram is the chair of the program. He talks say B2 be the cry now we meeting. I want to tell una categorically clear not to be to no more cry na ITGC meeting. Honorable Laim Aram don't cry na ITGC meeting. Honorable Alphaba, lawyer Alphaba, himself don't cry na ITGC meeting. Honorable AKK don't cry na ITGC meeting. Me na person way for let me act one is very difficult. Me act not the one, but me act you don't one inside ITGC meeting. This don't show the extent to which we don't patient, the extent to which we don't bear, the extent to which we don't reserve every anger. But if we continue for patience, we will run out of time. APC need lower level election as soon as possible. APC need convention as soon as possible. So we know there in any capacity for exercise any patience again. Exercise patience at the expense of the All People's Congress in contest one at 2023 elections. So now when we dey move, anybody wey wan stop we go say na he no want APC contest.
Awesome. So that's Honorable Abdul Kagbo, guys. You know, and this was the kind of actions that myself, you know, Comrade Koita, Cashbox, People's Power, for you guys that follow us on WhatsApp, this is some of the actions we've been talking about, right? That from the get-go, I've always believed, and my brothers as well, they've always believed that the ruling of Fisher should not have been accepted. We made it from the jump. You guys all remember when I came up with a video, when I showed you guys what Alfred Peter Conte said, because I want to show you guys where the APC party is at now. But I want to refresh your memories for all of you guys that follow me. We made it very clear. The APC party, we said this on WhatsApp, Facebook Lives, you know, on Twitter, should not have accepted the ruling from Judge Fisher. It was unconstitutional. We said it from the get-go. I showed you guys a video where I pointed out the fact that Alfred Peter Conte has no place in the APC. Listen to what he said a few years ago, about a year or so. This man came and said, the party get case. Who is he referring to? The only person that they've put a case on his head is Dr. Samora Kamara. One thing that Sierra Leoneans, you know, the mistake we've made is people don't want to hear the facts. When you come out and speak the facts, because it sounds painful to Sierra Leoneans, they want to hear it. But that is the fact, and that is what is going to happen. And when you tell them these things to prepare themselves so that they can take action, they don't want to hear that. That is what is sad. But the good thing about this time that we're in is because people are beginning to understand exactly what we've been saying. And so whenever we come now and say anything, people, you know, citizens, supporters of APC, Sierra Leoneans as a whole, because this is a fight to save democracy. This is not just about APC as a political party. This is a fight to save democracy. We've said all of these things. There is no way in hell that Fisher's ruling should have been accepted by the APC. Political action should have been taken then to say we're not going to accept this ruling. Because again, remember, why was the case taken to court? The faction, the rebels within the APC, the ones that form the coup plot within the APC, they said they don't want selection in the constitution. And that was taken away from the constitution. The constitution was adopted by former President Nkrumah. And the APC as a political party, the only thing that was left was to go into conventions. But no, Fisher came back with another ruling to say the executive has to be dissolved. So now I'm going to go into why I'm doing this live today, because I want to show you guys this letter from the PPRC chairman. This is why I'm doing this live. Because I want you guys to understand that the PPRC chairman, of course, is trying to save his neck now. It has gone into the point where they know the disaster that awaits them. And not only that, the international community is putting so much pressure because they know that we cannot have an elections without the APC as a political party, one of the biggest and oldest political parties in the world and West Africa as a whole, in Africa. They know we cannot have an elections without the APC. And if the APC cannot pick a flag bearer, going to the comments of Fatima Bio when she said at that meeting in America, APC, then they under the defense and they even get flag bearer. They're not going to forget flag bearer. And even President Bio has said in the past that he's going to go unopposed. So there's a plan. We know it's a ploy within the government. They're using these institutions to destroy the APC as a political party. And then you have these idiots, these coup plotters within the APC that have allowed themselves to be used. But now the people have stood up and they say enough is enough. And that is where we're at, Sierra Leoneans. And that is what I want to point out to you guys. So I want to show you this letter that came from the PPRC. You wouldn't even believe it because this letter the wording is so strong. When I saw this letter, I was shocked. I said to myself, maybe this is a fake letter. That's what I said to myself when I saw it, when Rekocha shared it with me. I'm like, I don't trust this after I read the whole thing. Because, people do these fake, Twitter accounts now these days, fake press releases and all that stuff. But I had to call Honorable Abukagwa and said, Honorable, I need you to verify this PPRC press release from the chairman of the PPRC. I want you to verify this for me to be sure that this came from the PPRC. And he said, Ibrahim, yes, this came from the PPRC. I'm like, oh my God. And that is why I'm doing this live today, because I want you guys to know where the APC is at now at this particular point in time. In the next few days or so, we're going to hear from the TIIEMC, which is the Transitional, In-Team Elections Management Committee, something along that line, who that committee is headed by lawyer Ibrahim Suri. Over the next few days, I am sure we're going to hear from him to give us the playbook, the map for the APC leading into the conventions and having the lower level elections. That is where we're at. But I want to share this letter with you, and I want you guys to see exactly where we're going. So if you're just joining me, by the way, welcome everybody. And make sure you share the live, guys. Share the live. Before I even read this letter to you guys, let me play an audio, of the chairman of the PPRC so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. I want you guys to see this video from the chairman of the PPRC first. But go ahead and share the live whilst you're listening to this video. Everybody go share the live.
Do for CC indeed, then look at certain cases and think them way down, they come now.
And just to let you know, by the way, it was an audio that was done. I just did some pictures over, overlay over the audio, So, but this is, it's not you're not going to see the video moving. You're just going to hear the sound, but it's just pictures over, to make a video out of this so I can save it in my archives, all right? But listen to the PPRC chairman, Mr. Abdullahi, Bangura, even though he's an SLPP member. Everybody has a right to, belong to the SLPP. So whilst you listen to this, you might see his SLPP party, card. It doesn't mean anything at this point. Everybody belongs to a political party. So just for the sake of it, just so you know that. But I want you to listen to this and go ahead and share the live whilst you listen to this.
Next up, we get for deal with the All People's Congress. And it will give family them update in expect to waiting on it happen inside this week.
Yes, we don't as every other party, we don't deal with the APC as a party in respect of so many issues relating to that party. The first place, the Medina Court, and court don't give judgment. The judgment of the court is set up a 21-man committee. Whether 21-man committee, they are in charge with the responsibility for man the affairs of the party until they go to lower level election, onto National Delegates Conference, for men and constitute the organs of the party. And we, as the organization charged with the responsibility for supervise the activities of political parties, will be following the activities of that 21-man committee. But unfortunately, it will seem as if the membership of that committee is split in the middle. They don't get two factions, and none of those factions not seem prepared for men and go shift ground and ensure say them do things as a unit in the general interest of the party. Every one of them, the two factions, they don't stay fixed, they don't stand their ground, and they're not seem to be bothered about the well-being of the party. So because of that, we as a commission will be need to call a press conference for law will inform the press, and through the press, the general public, particularly so the membership of the APC, for men and go lose the 21-man committee, then they seem for diminish the chances of the party for men and go compete effectively in the 2023 general election. Why?
Thank you, guys. I wanted you to see that. That is what is very important right here. For the APC to participate very effectively. That's the key word. And that is the PPRC chairman making it clear. So since it did this interview over the radio, a lot has changed. I want you guys to know that even though he's saying the ITGC, it seems like both factions have stood their ground. The fact of the matter remains, it was the other faction, the rebel faction, that has been creating problems after problems for the ITGC. Honorable Abu Kagbo's faction, they are doing well of this 21-man committee. They've met all the regulations. They've been very obedient, meeting all the rules and regulations that should move the APC as a political party forward. But the faction, that guy that came from America and used the court system that SLPP planted within the APC as a party, this Alfred Peter Conte guy, he was an agent of the SLPP planted into the APC now to destroy the APC, having the backing of the judiciary, Judge Fisher, to destroy the APC. This guy has been holding everything back. So the PPRC chairman is trying to save his neck right here because he knows when push comes to shove, he's going to be held accountable as well. But this is the question I have for the PPRC chairman because, like I said, I'm about to come and read this letter. I'm going to read this letter to you so you guys can see how far we've come since this audio that you just listened to where we're at now. I'm going to read this letter. But I have this to say, and I want everybody to pay attention to this. The PPRC chairman, we are only going to have so much trust in him when he comes back and tells us that the executive of APC that was dissolved by Fisher was illegal. Because as PPRC, a regulatory body of a political party, if the executive of the APC, meaning former President Nkrumah as the chairman of the executive, Payan Saner as the Secretary General of the APC at the time, before they were dissolved by Fisher, if they were illegitimate, the PPRC should have at least informed us, the general population, with a letter of some sort to tell us that the executive is illegitimate and illegal. Therefore, if the PPRC had never said anything about the executive being illegitimate, then why is it that the court should have the authority to dissolve the executive of APC party? I talk this man Creole for my brother and sister there. The PPRC chairman for CAM and can tell we why, if the executive of APC was illegitimate, if it not be legal again, why him as the PPRC chairman not come out in letter, in an interview, audio, video, for come and tell the rest of the world, say, the executive of the APC before they were dissolved by Fisher, why he not come and tell we for say they're illegal? Why not tell we say they're illegitimate? Because again, the PPRC is the body where they regulate political parties. So if the executive of the APC was illegal, it should have come from the PPRC first before the judge even go ahead, the court, go say for dissolve the executive. When I think about this, so until the PPRC chairman comes out and talk to us about that fact, we have no trust in him. We know they are playing games, but for the sake of the APC moving forward, so that the APC will get a convention and hold the lower level elections, let us play the game with them. Now everybody's trying to exonerate themselves, right? Oh, I don't know. It's like these guys that they light the fire at the APC party. When they light the fire, then they all come on out the can and hey, I don't know, not to me. Now they crash the matches. Because he sat there as the PPRC chairman when the APC executive was really, it's a legally constituted organ of the party. They were voted for by the people. How can the court come out, Judge Fisher, come and say the APC executive was illegal and dissolve the executive of the people? That was a bastardization of our democracy right there. And until the PPRC chairman come out and make that point very clear, Usain Sidom, as the regulator of political parties in Sierra Leone, why it not be tell we say the APC executive was illegal and therefore the need for dissolve? It did not do it. That means the game where they play against we, the Fisher in ruling. That is how I built this assertion. That is how I built this conclusion to tell you guys that the APC should have never accepted the ruling from Fisher. But hey, that is past. Let's come to the present now. Let me read this letter for you. This is the letter after the youth them of the APC party stood up. If you guys remember, the APC youth them, they stood up against the Nkamna party office. They started making all this, saying they want their party back. They're going to take their party back and all of that stuff. That was how this whole thing started. So therefore, this moved the members of parliament them to get into the party office to hold a meeting where they were all present. Who was not present? Honorable Cherry Koko, Honorable Chero Majuba, the leader of the APC in parliament. This was the only man who was not present at that meeting. Why? Only God knows. Maybe the room was too hot for him. Maybe not in kind setting and the man was in a parliament for 15 years. So maybe that's not his kind of thing. Honorable Chero Majuba could not even show up at that meeting when the people of the APC are calling for help. It could not show up at a time like that to talk to the people, if anything, to calm them down and let them know that he's taking actions. Honorable Chero Majuba of the APC, as the leader of the opposition, did not show up at all. But let me show you guys this. When the APC, the youth stood up and they said, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let me show you guys this real quick. I want you guys to see this. You remember when the youth wrote this letter? I want you guys to see this, guys. From the youth of the APC. Let us read this together. Again, I'm going to come to the PPRC chairman's letter, right? But I want you guys to track with me because I want you all to see where this whole thing started. So let's get back to the students. This is the students, All People's Congress National Union of APC Students, NOAS. The attention of the leadership of the National Union of APC Students has been drawn to a press notice dated 4th November 2022, signed by Alfred Peter Conte, purportedly on behalf of the ITGC, erroneously claiming, and this thing try clear up, the mandate of various NOAS executives has expired, and that the ITGC has selected Momo L.M. Flea as caretaker president, who will subsequently appoint caretaker executive across campuses. Excuse me, I don't know what to be catch Alfred Peter Conte, we make it feel say, it go able for, go interfere inside the students here in political affairs. So this was how these guys, all the students of all the various campuses came together and write one letter for challenge this coup plotter within the APC, this deviant within the APC that wanted to dissolve the executive of the student unions across the country, right? They wrote this letter, all of them signed this letter. This is what you're seeing right here. From all the institutions them across the country, they all signed. MMTU, IPAM, Commerce, Lixal, Unimac, all of them signed this letter. So this was what spurred, all of these students to show up now at the APC party office to demand that they take over the political party back. Because enough is enough. Time is not on their side. The interference is too much. The lack of action is too much. This was the whole thing that caused and started this whole thing. So that was when you guys saw the students came out. They started speaking up. If you listen to speeches like these, where they came up and said, enough is enough. So you guys have seen all these videos, right? So I don't want to, I've shown you all of these, right? You guys have seen all of the stuff that I'm talking about over WhatsApp if you follow WhatsApp. So for the sake of this live, because I don't want it to be too long, I want you guys to see where we're going. But now, this is the letter from the PPRC chairman. After everything I've showed you, after all the students, took it upon themselves, went to the party office, the members of parliament spoke to them, Honorable Abukagbo stood his ground and said they're going to take their political party back violently and everything, right? So now, Alfred Peter Conte, the final stuff that broke the camel's back, I'm going to show you this tweet from Honorable Abukagbo. This is the tweet that actually changed the game. And I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to understand exactly where we are going with this. Honorable Abukagbo came out, and made it very clear that they're not going to tolerate this nonsense anymore and they have to move forward. So this is the tweet that changed the whole thing. I want you guys to see this. This is the tweet that changed the whole game. On November 14th, 2 days ago, Honorable Abukagbo had a meeting with PPRC chairman, with that of Alfred Peter Conte as well. Matter of fact, before I read the letter, that is what I want you guys to see from the PPRC chairman. But this was what caused the PPRC chairman to write the letter that he wrote, the scathing letter against this deviant of the APC. This guy will come from the coup within the APC as a political party. But this is the tweet. Let me read this. It's clear that Alfred Peter Conte intends to hold the APC to ransom. Again, if you guys are not following me on Twitter, I'm going to show you guys my Twitter page so you guys can go on Twitter because you have to see what's happening. If you're not on Twitter, you have to follow me on Twitter. And by the way, if you're on this live, you're not even following the page, make sure you follow the page. But let's read this tweet here. All right? Now, from Honorable Abdul Kagbo, it is clear that Alfred Peter Conte intends to hold the APC to ransom. Exactly 2 weeks into the 60 days for the completion of all lower level elections, he abruptly walked off the PPRC meeting using derogatory statements. One man can't stop the APC. The ITGC will soon react. This was the powerful tweet from Honorable Abdul Kagbo. And that is why I want you guys to see this. And after that, of course, it followed with other subsequent tweets. But like I said, what I want to do here today is to read this letter from the PPRC chairman. And this was after Alfred Peter Conte abruptly walked out of the meeting. That was when the PPRC chairman, in a bid to pull his head, to save his neck out of this. Well, I pull his head by this whole thing because they all don't know, say, if anything happened at that country, they will not go free. So now he's inside the fight for pulling head. He's fighting to save his neck from the butcher block. And this is the PPRC chairman. I'm going to read the letter now. Directed to Alfred Peter Conte, the deviant guy. All of you guys sabi him. I don't make him. I don't put in pictures in my life because, you guys know him. But this is the letter from the PPRC chairman. I want us to read this together. Let's read this together. I write in response to your letter of the 14th November 2022, captioned as above, and served on the commission, and your conduct in the commission's conference room of even reference. Though your said letter is not addressed to anybody, its contents relates to the commission and reflective of your misconduct in a conference room. It was also served on us by you personally after misconducting yourself. This is the PPRC. This is very strong. You seem to be under the delusion that the commission is under obligation to endorse your decisions without questions. This borders around derision and frightening ignorance of the commission's statutory mandate. We are established by Section 34(1) of the 1991 Constitution and inter alia charged with the responsibility to supervise and monitor the activities of political parties. See Section 6, subsection 1 of the Political Parties Act number 3 of 2002 by Sections 34, subsection 5 of the Constitution and 3 of the Political Parties Act 2002 in the exercise of our functions. We are not subject to the directions of any person or authority. Your attempt at dictating to the commission as to how it conducts its business is an affront to its authority and thus unacceptable. Again, remember, right? This is the PPRC chairman directing this letter to Alfred Peter Conte, the deviant, where they represent the faction we come with the coup against the APC as a political party for dissolve the executive of APC. This is the PPRC chairman now addressing Alfred Peter Conte. I want you guys to pay attention and everybody else will support him. We are a state institution with a defined mandate, and that must be respected by you and all that we deal with. A political party can only inquire into our conduct through the courts, not by frivolous accusations and profanities on social media platforms. The latter only exhibits the peddlers and their handlers' insecurities, background, and upbringing. This is the PPRC, guys. Strong words. I like that. The contents of your letter and conduct aforesaid are not only disrespectful of the commission, but also amounts to an interference with its work. Interfering with the commission's officials and its business for your edification constitutes an offense. Let's go to page 2. All right. And I hope the PPRC would follow up on this to charge this guy to court in violation of the PPRC. As an offense under Section 10 of the Political Parties Act number 3 of 2002. We shall not hesitate to invoke that if such brazen conduct persists. Thank you. All of the decisions you have taken as chairman of the ITGC have been challenged by other members of that body. You hold the view that the judgment of the 28th April 2022 confers powers on you to act in the manner you have acted, whilst the other members of the committee are contending that you are absolutely devoid of such powers. Until his lordship that created your outfit in his judgment gives a definition of your powers, both views held by you and the other members of the committee are mere conjectures. It is inexplicable, therefore, that you expect the commission to swallow hook, line, and sinker your own view. The commission is an independent institution, and we are nobody's poodle. I love this. You seem to hold the pretensions that your decisions are sacrosanct and binding on all and sundry. As a member, of course, such mentality in a view is at variance with what you professed to stand for. As an oversight body, we have advisedly chosen to stay in the middle unless his lordship interprets his judgment. We took that position in realization of the fact that acting in line with either of the two views aforementioned could be tantamount to an endorsement of that view, and thus an interpretation of his lordship's judgment, an act that is clearly ultra-vires a statutory brief. You and your surrogates have consistently basked on our being a party to the action, and in your estimation, that rids us of our mandate. We are therefore at a loss that you are now seeking the endorsement of your actions from this commission you and your cohorts have so berated as insignificant. This guy is a lawyer, so he's writing in lawyer terms, right? I love this. We have, however, restrained ourselves from expressly preferring such views by way of our own interpretation, out of respect for the diverse efforts being employed, to bring you together. Preferring our interpretation, therefore, may only further compound the problem, as it may conflict with either of the two views in issue. That would certainly not be helpful to those efforts geared towards a resolution of the impasse. We have therefore held our peace in the face of all the audacity and tirade from you. This Alfred Peter Kontega has been terrorizing the PPRC. That is what the PPRC chairman is saying here. Let us go to the third page. You are doing all of these cognizant of the fact that you are not a regular organ of the party, and the judgment is not a ruling of the commission. Had it been either of the two, all of you would have been called to order in a jiffy and free the party from your pettifogging and selfish bickering. As to why you are so unsettled by the commission's considered decisions to sit in the middle and maintain the status quo till we hear from his lordship is unfathomable. You have annoyingly resorted to accusing us of deepening the divide in your committee. That Alfred Peter Conte is accusing the PPRC of deepening the divide, which is why the PPRC chairman thought it fits to come out now and put this letter to save his neck for tomorrow. We will reserve our opinion on that accusation till his lordship rules. It is exactly disingenuous and dishonest accusations of this nature that informed my last audio interview, the interview that I played. I feel vindicated for my going public on happenings in your committee, as you are doing precisely what we predicted, scapegoating others for your failings. Hey, let's see this. For the records, if our intention is to deepen the divide in the ITGC, there is a discreet and more effective way of doing that: keeping quiet. But we have, in the interest of the party, sat in the middle whilst we explore ways and means of settling the dispute, fully cognizant of the attendant unprovoked backlash we are now experiencing from desperate and uncouth individuals within your circles, just for holding the balance. Whilst we await the next barrage of profanities and scathing comments from your attack dogs, We will continue to sit in the middle as arbiters until his lordship provides his directions through interpretation of his judgment. No amount of curse or vilification will stampede us from a posture. In the interim, we look forward to you relating with the commission with due deference, finesse, and respect. Signed by the chairman of the PPRC. A copied his lordship, Adrian George Fisher, Lockhart Building, Sheikha Stevens Street. So guys, this is where we're at. Which is why I decided to do this live. Because I want to give you guys hope now. I want you all to know and see where we're at. And this is where we at. The APC, the ITGC is going to go away soon. It's only in a few weeks. Immediately the APC has its lower level elections, which is what I'm going into now. A fine brother by the name of lawyer Ibrahim Sori is in charge of this committee. And let me show you guys this. So Honorable Abdul yesterday, November 15th, tweeted this. Now that the TIMEC, which is the TIEMC, has been fully constituted, it is their responsibility, in consultation with PPRC, to produce the timetable for all lower level elections. Please don't countenance any timetable you see on social media. Please wait for the TIMEC. And I'm not even going to show the crazy, press release from Alfred Peter Conte that he put out there. I'm not going to glorify that on this live, where he was talking about the dates for the lower level elections. At this point, the ITGC is not responsible for the lower level elections. I want you guys to read my lips, guys. Everybody, read my lips. The ITGC is not responsible for conducting lower level elections anymore. The TIMEC, the Transitional Interim, Election Management Committee, read my lips, guys. That is the committee that is going to direct the path moving forward for the lower level elections. And I can guarantee everybody that we would hear from that committee by the end of this week or beginning next week, because the people of APC cannot wait. Sierra Leoneans cannot wait because our democracy is on the line, our democracy is backsliding, and that is why these tweets from Honorable Agbo is the most important tweet that everybody should focus on now. Read my lips again. Now that the TIMEC has been fully constituted, it is their responsibility in consultation with PPRC to produce the timetable for all lower level elections. That is the responsibility of the TIMEC. The TIMEC is the committee that is responsible now for the APC as a political party to move forward.